Hey guys, it's Tinker Taylor here today, bringing you back another Pokemon build series video. Today we have Tauros, who is a normal type Pokemon. And if Tauros sounds sort of similar to the Zodiac sign Taurus, it's probably because it very much is. This Pokemon is a bull type, and the only difference, in my opinion, between the Zodiac sign and the Pokemon is that the spelling is different. So the Zodiac is Taurus, and this Pokemon is OS. But yeah, it's a little bull. I say little. It's a bull type Pokemon. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of just realized that maybe half an hour before I started recording this video. I actually had to look it up because I'm not huge into star signs. I don't know. I find them to be interesting, but I don't necessarily believe in them. I don't know, there's sometimes, like, you can read into them and be like, oh, well, it says that I'm gonna have a good day today. And that can, like, I don't want to say trick your brain into having a good day, but, like, if I read something's positive is gonna happen, and it just says something positive is going to happen, I'm gonna be looking out for all the positive things. So for me, I think it's not that bad to read star signs. I just don't read too heavily into them because they are very generic, and they are very, like, anybody, like, I could literally say anything about anybody, and I'm sure anybody could bring something out of it, Like, the star sign could be like, oh, there's going to be a cloud in your day, and that could mean quite physically, like, quite literally a storm cloud, or it could mean that something is clouding your judgment, or clouding what you're looking at, or something kind of just slightly bothers you, slightly upsets you. Like, you could interpret it in so many different ways, and yeah, like, that's why I don't necessarily believe in it per se. I've also met a lot of people who are not into them, and when you figure out what their star signs are, you're like, oh, you're nothing like your star sign. But the people who believe into them, I feel like they, not all of them, but a number of them, I find, do lean into the stereotypes that come with their star signs, which I find interesting. Like, I do know people who, again, like I said, don't believe in them, don't even know what their own star sign is. You look it up and it's like, oh, you are similar. But then there are others who are, like, completely opposite and nothing at all like what their star sign is. So yeah, I don't necessarily believe in it, but like I said, if there's something positive that you can take from it, then I don't see the harm in being positive around it. I've had, I've looked into it a couple times just to see for fun, like, oh, I wonder what my star sign says about me today, like, what's this and that and the other about me, and whatever. And yeah, I just take whatever positive message from it that I can. Sometimes it's like, oh, be wary of people who were born on Tuesdays, and I'm like, how am I gonna know who was born on a Tuesday? Like, how many people actually know what day they were born? Like, date, sure, but how many people know what day they were born? So I don't really pay attention to that. But if it's like, oh, there's going to be a silver lining in your day, I'm not going to read that as I'm going to have a bad day, but there's going to be something good. I read that as, oh, well, something is good going to happen. Because I could focus on the bad, but why would I do that when I can focus on the good? And yeah, it's not necessarily something that's all that important. It's not necessarily something I believe in, but again, just having a little bit of fun with it. But yeah, anyway, this Pokemon, I always go on rambles and rants, and I never talk about the actual build of the Pokemon. But this Pokemon, like I said, it is a bull. It looks like a bull. There's really not much difference between a bull and this Pokemon, except this Pokemon has 3 tails. And it's got these, like, I don't know, they look like silver circles, 3 of them up its forehead nose area. And the horns kind of look like they are made out of silver or painted silver or something like that. And when I saw this Pokemon originally, I was like, well, it would be cool to build a farm that's like I don't want to say a produce farm, but a farm that has, like, an animal working for it, where, like, the animal is tilling the fields, not a machine, not like a tractor. And then when I got to building it, I did start building this house, but in a much smaller capacity. It was way, way, way smaller. And I was originally not going to have it be as, I don't want to say fancy, but as fancy as it ends up being. But when I started doing the smaller build, I ended up picking some of the things that you see here, like the exterior, and I was like, you know what, why don't we just roll with it? Like, I actually kind of like this idea better. So we do pivot a little bit, and this is more like, you know, the idea of a bull, and I'm not talking star signs here, but when someone is kind of described as a bull, I always take that to mean is like they just go at it. They whatever they're working at, they just charge and get in and get it done, that sort of thing. You know, they're strong, and they just, you know, like there's nothing that's going to get in the way of achieving their goal. And that's kind of how I see this couple here, because there is a couple in my mind who live here. No idea who they are, no idea what they look like, no, don't know anything about them except the fact that these are a hard-working couple who love their farm life. Like they just, like, you know, they started with a little farm, and then they grew it bigger and bigger and bigger, and now they can live in this really nice house. But because they're focused on farming, they don't care about, you know, oh, let's live in a mansion and blah blah blah. No, they just want to live in a nice house. You know, they want to be able to have friends over and entertain and whatnot. But, you know, it's not actually a bit, like, if you are a rich farmer, now I have no idea, I'm not a farmer, I have no idea what that actually means, what a rich farmer is. I don't know what that equates to, like, people who are rich who live in the city. I don't know the equation to that. I don't know if that means, you know, like, if that being rich in the in a rural area is higher or lower. I don't know the finances behind that, but these people, yes, they are well off, but they don't care about spending their money on a huge luxurious house that only the two of them live in. You know, it's just the two of them. Like, why would they have a massive house when it's just the two of them? So it is a big house. It's a nice house. You know, the bathroom is as big as their bedroom. That's, like, a little bit ridiculous, but they're not over the top with it, you know? They don't have, like, 16 guest rooms and, you know, wasting all this space. You know, they want to use most of it for farming, so why would they waste it, you know? And you know what? These may be a couple who I invented in my head who don't exist in real life, but I love them. I love them for that, because they're not wasting space. They're not wasting land. They're using as much of it as they can for farming, which I will always think farming is important. It's how we get to eat. So I definitely love and support farmers. In fact, my roommates are very much the same, and we get a lot of our fruit and vegetables from farmers markets. We get meat from farmers markets or directly from a butcher. We generally don't go to big chain grocery stores to get that sort of stuff. Like snacks and stuff like that, yes. But yeah, most of the time it's farmers markets, and yeah, it's brilliant. I love it, and it's also much better quality. I find that when I cook with farmers market produce, that the food just tastes so much better. Like, it just 1,000% better. And a lot of the butchers that we go to as well aren't like big chain butchers either. They tend to be very small butchers, a little bit further away from where we live, and again, same thing, just such better quality. Like, yes, sometimes it's more expensive, but it supports farmers and, you know, smaller companies, smaller businesses, and B, it just tastes so much better. You know, like, I think it's brilliant. I think it's great. I think when I move out, I'm going to continue that little trend of going to places like that. When I lived at uni, I also did get a lot of farm produce, a lot of farm fruit and veg. In fact, my potatoes still had dirt on them. We had to wash our potatoes ourselves. It wasn't like pre-cleaned. These were like, I guess you could say ugly vegetables, but again, they taste so good. They were clean. Well, once we cleaned the potatoes, they were clean. But, you know, they were just so fresh and so good, and yeah, I don't know. I very much like it. And we've grown some stuff here as well. I've grown a few things over the years, but yeah, my roommates are also big into growing things as well, and yeah, I don't know, I just want more of that sort of stuff, you know? I want to grow my own fruit and veggies as well, but the problem with that is if I'm growing it all myself, then I'm not supporting local farmers. So I think it'll be something where like I grow specific things that I want to, and then everything I don't want to grow or like I find really difficult to grow, I'll definitely go to farmers markets for that and help support them. And obviously getting meat from our farmers markets as well, because I don't know about you guys, but I am personally not one to grow my own meat. I don't know, I'm too soft. I'm way too soft for that, and mad respect to anybody out there who can do that. Kind of scared of anyone who is a butcher, to be honest. Just a tiny bit. Could not be me ever. So yeah, long story short, never gonna grow my own meat, but I'm okay with growing my own fruit and vegetables. Yeah, like I actually also bought my mum I think it was a mandarin tree for Mother's Day one year, because, you know, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Like, it's always going to be there once it grows and gets big and whatnot. Like, you'll have mandarins every season and you don't have to go buy them, and mandarins are very good. I did look at a bunch of different fruits and stuff like that, and yeah, I think mandarins was the best bet, because she's already got a few other bits and pieces and whatnot, and yeah, mandarins. It may or may not have also been because as a kid for like 2 months I would eat like 6 mandarins a day, and I'm not kidding, I would eat 6 mandarins a day at least. And then I have not eaten a mandarin. I've maybe had 2 segments of a mandarin since. So yeah, look, long story short, a little bit of a thank you for buying me all those mandarins, and here are some more, and you never have to buy mandarins ever again. It's been taken care of. Sorry for eating so many mandarins for like 2 months straight and then just never eating them ever again. But it's still not flowering, but it's still quite young, so it's not ready to produce anything yet. But yeah, I don't know, it's I do love fresh fruit, fresh produce, and also getting honey from local areas. I love doing that. I have spoken about this before. It can help with hay fever. Now, I don't personally have hay fever, but I have noticed every time I get honey local to the area where I live in, I get sick less as well. I don't know, I don't get as sick because I have that local honey, and I don't know if it's because I'm just drinking more tea and eating more honey, which is really good for you, or if it's because I put honey in my tea. That's where the tea is related. I sometimes put honey in my tea, especially when I feel sick. Or if it's just like because I have the honey, I'm also eating healthier external to that honey. I don't know, it could be anything, but it definitely does help with slight hay fever. I say slight because I'm not going to promise anything if you have severe hay fever. I'm also not a doctor. This was advice given to my family by a doctor, but for very minor hay fever. So yeah, again, if you have major hay fever, please consult with an actual doctor for actual help. But if you have just a little bit of the snuffles when the seasons change, I would suggest giving some local honey a go. I will never not talk about it. It's absolutely amazing, absolutely brilliant, and yeah, 1000% recommend every single time. And also, again, it helps out local produce makers. So, you know, it's a win-win for pretty much everybody, except maybe the huge honey companies. But then again, there's enough people buying from them that it doesn't really matter. Like, they'll be fine if a couple of people don't buy from them anymore. But the local people will do really well because a couple of people did buy from them, and it makes a change in their life. And I think, you know, why not do that? Why not help everyone out a little bit before we help the bigger companies who don't really need help? Yeah, one day I want to get my own bees, so maybe I'll start selling my own honey. I don't know. I have not decided. It's definitely something that I want to do. something I've thought about doing and very keen on doing. But yeah, first I need to learn a ton about bees and make sure that I have a healthy and safe environment for them. I have a little garden set up for them so that they have somewhere to pollinate and make their honey and things like that. And I don't know if bees can have treats, but I wanna get little bee treats for them if that's possible. And maybe even make some like honey candy. I've had like it's basically like a throat lozenge, but it's purely made out of honey and it tastes so good. And taking those when you're sick, again, so good. It helps soothe that throat, and apparently taking honey, like it if you have a sore throat, having honey in your tea or like on a sandwich or something like that can help soothe it a little bit better. It's a natural remedy, I guess. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have a look at that because I'm very keen on honey. I do love honey. I do love bees. I think it's like the one thing I'll never get sick of, and it's also the one thing that will never go off in your pantry. So, you know, it's kind of a win-win for everyone because it'll never go off. If you go out, if you don't want to eat it anymore, it's fine. You can wait and come back to it when you do feel like it. But it's also, yeah, very, very good for you, very, very healthy, and helps the environment. Like, we want to support honey making and bees and whatnot. So, yeah, I don't know. I would love to have bees at the moment, but we do not have the space for them, and yeah, with all the animals we have now, I just don't want to mix bees and the pets that are in this house. So I'll definitely look at it later at a different time when I have a bit more space and whatnot. But yeah, that's my little ramble and rant for the day done. With this build, yeah, like I said, it's pretty small. I don't know if I've already said it's pretty small, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. I've recorded this video twice. I don't know what happened, but something happened and it glitched out and I have to re-record. So yeah, it's 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. The bedroom and bathroom are the same size. There is a kitchen, a private living room space, like a to watch TV, and then there is another living room space and the dining space in the middle, and there's no TV in that area, so that's more of like a communal hangout, chat, that sort of thing space. And yeah, this is pretty pack restricted too. I think it maybe has like 7 or 8 packs in it. I think it's an even number. I think it might be 6 or 8. I think more than 6 though. Less than 10 for sure, I can say that. But yeah, it'll be down in the description below if you want to see that, and if you want to see more stuff like this, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.